y'all, welcome back to my channel. Wanted to get on here today with the kitchen empties, and I love these because they give a real good depiction of the way I eat. I'm doing this in collaboration again with ElleIsForLiving, so y'all be sure and go check out what she's loving in her kitchen, and we are both low carb. I've been Atkins maintenance since 1998. If you want to know more about my diet, I'll link some more diet videos and put some details down below, and I am just going to jump right into this. Okay, first I saved this avocado seed. I am really eating a lot of avocados. In the past, I have always forgotten avocados. They just get left off. I'm loving them. I love them in smoothies to add a richness and more fat. So if I do add some berries, that fat seems to slow that sugar down where that sugar affects me less. So love these in smoothies. Love it with eggs in like Mexican bowls. I'll talk about that more later. Love the avocados. I always keep a ton of them now. Okay, then I have an empty ranch. This is what I really try to eat on my salads because it's no gluten, no carbs, no sugar. So I love my ranch. I keep about 3 of those. For a while, I was eating Thousand Island, and I still love it, but I'm careful with that sugar. Okay, next I have an empty broccoli florets. I'm not crazy about broccoli, but it is just a good, healthy veggie. And I don't mind it. I'll just grab a handful of this whenever I can force myself to. Have it with chicken salad, just anything. You know, just adds a little bit of extra green. It's just good for us. Every time I get that, I think it's good for your skin. Eat the broccoli. Then I have an empty carrots, an empty baby carrots, and just holding this bag up is making Ted stand at my feet. He thinks he's getting a carrot. I love grabbing these, and I know these are a little bit higher carb. That's fine. I will eat a bag of these. They really don't affect my blood sugar that much. I just grab a little handful and eat them for some extra veggie. They're good for, you know, they're good for everything. Skin, eyes, everything. Then I have an empty blackberries. I freeze them, and then I'll grab a very tiny handful and put them in a little smoothie. And with an avocado, some apple cider vinegar, some water, or just coconut milk. And these are just good for a little extra sugar. I'm just so careful with them. Berries are low carb, but these do affect my blood sugar. So I'm real careful with these. My favorite way to eat blackberries is to grab a handful of them, put them in the microwave, put sweetener and Cool Whip for a treat. But that is a treat. And I can only do that once or twice a week. And then I really start getting bloated. And you know what? I don't think I have an apple core in here, but I eat apples all the time. I eat one usually every morning or for a mid-morning snack or sometime during the day with peanut butter or nuts. They really don't do that much to me, and I think they're a higher sugar fruit. I can eat apples all day long. Then I always have a giant Folgers in here. Folgers is my absolute favorite coffee. I like it better than anything fancy. And the classic is my favorite, but I also love the black silk. But I think the classic is a little ahead of that. I have 1 cup in the morning, and I put 2 Sweet Lows and Coffee Mate in it. 1 cup of regular caffeine in the morning. I'm having it now. Okay, next, I have a craisins in here. I always get the giant one. I will tell y'all what I replaced this with is the low sugar craisins that a bunch of y'all had been telling me about. I love them. So I will get the low sugar from now on. But I'm not afraid of these. Every morning before the gym, I grab a little handful of these, kind of sometimes a healthy handful, depending on how much sugar I feel like I need. And so I grab a handful of these and a little handful of nuts for, you know, just a good treat right before the gym. Then I have an empty sea salt Ciate grain-free chips. These are my favorite chip because they're grain-free, gluten-free, and they don't have rice or corn. All this has in it is cassava flour, avocado oil, coconut flour, ground chia seed, and sea salt. They're light, crispy, airy. I love them. Now the sea salt were a little bit bland. I added extra salt, sea salt, onto these. The lime are my favorite, but I love the Ciate. Then I have the Eat Smart Sweet Kale Salad. At grocery pickup, I always pick up at least 5 of these. I love this, and I just put a ton of hamburger on it, some nutritional yeast, grab a handful of carrots, some broccoli. It's just a very easy, healthy dinner. Then I have an empty blue diamond roasted salted almonds. These are my absolute favorite right now. A handful of these, a handful of the cranberries, and it is delicious. I will eat a little handful of these anytime during the day. That is a great snack. Okay, then I always have a couple of cartons of eggs. Almost every morning, I'll have an egg and an egg white or 2 eggs. And lately, I've been loving it with a cheese, usually pimento cheese, and an apple. Or a couple of eggs, bacon, and gluten-free toast. Holds me over all day, and eggs are just good for it. They're just good for you. I don't watch my eggs. I'll eat as many as I want. Then I have a coffee mate, and this is just what I do in my coffee. I don't do half and half. I don't do cream because that eventually starts pudging me up. Especially the cream. I cannot do cream in my coffee. I start gaining weight within a week. So the coffee mate, I just really don't even count the carbs or the calories or anything. Then I have an Atkins coconut, and these are my favorite. I would say I go through 1 box of these in a month. I really am careful with these because I'm trying not to eat so much processed food right after I talk about the coffee mate. But I do love these. In a pinch, if I want something sweet, I could eat 3 or 4 of these and they will not bloat me. They're high in fiber, so if you eat 3 or 4 of them, be careful. I love these. I had one yesterday with a little handful of almonds, and it just is a great tide me over. If I'm doing a late workout, this is great before the gym. Now, an apple and peanut butter would be better, but if I'm in a hurry, I will grab one of those. Then I have an empty Jif extra crunchy peanut butter, and I have about 3 more of these in my kitchen. I will eat giant spoonfuls of the peanut butter. I love this with apples. Or before the gym, just a big spoon of this, take it to the car with me. It's just great to have around. I tried a healthier almond butter. I didn't like it as much. I'm just sticking with the Jif. Then I have an empty pimento cheese. Just about every morning, a big spoon of this with eggs and apple, and I dip my apple in it. Delicious. And the prices is my favorite. I need to make that from scratch like my mom did when I was growing up, but I just haven't yet. I have another Ciate, and I will tell you, I'm kind of careful with the Ciate chips. I really count the carbs on that. If I'm going low carb on a day, I won't eat those. But on just a regular day, I get a handful of those. I'm just careful with how much I get. Okay, then I have a half and half. I poured half of this out because it doesn't mess with my blood sugar. But I start pudging up on half and half cream in my coffee. I just cannot do it. So I can't do the half and half in my coffee. Okay, then I have an empty little, these are cocoa almonds. And these were in 100-calorie packs. I did not care for this. 1 pack is too little, and 2 packs is too much. I just like the bag that I can reach in and grab what I want. I'm careful with it, but these just were not gratifying to me at all. So I replaced these with a bag. But I will tell you, if you are just going to start trying to eat nuts, add nuts in, these are good so you know what a serving is. You know, it told me what a serving is, and I get more than a serving. I would say about a serving and a half is about right for me. Okay, then I have an empty Duke's mayonnaise. I always keep chicken salad made. That's mostly what I use this for, and coleslaw. I'll link both of those recipes down below. I rely heavily on chicken salad and coleslaw. Okay, next I have an empty Famous Dave's pickle chips. They're like bread and butter married with a jalapeno. They're a little bit spicy but sweet. I'm so careful with these though. About 5 of these little pickle chips has probably 6 grams of carbs. You could really go to town on this. So when I want more extra sugar, I'll add extra pickles. If I'm really watching my carbs, I just add a few. I love these. Okay, next I have an empty Sahel or Sahali tangerine and vanilla. These are dried fruit and nuts, and they're delicious. Every flavor I've tried of these, I love. These tangerine vanilla are especially delicious. They remind me of those little craft candies, the little white nougat with little jelly in them. That's kind of what these taste like, and they're delicious. I'm very careful with these, just like I'm careful with cranberries. I grab a little handful of this when I need sugar, and then a little handful of regular nuts. And I love these, but I do add a little bit of nuts, extra fat with those because it's dried fruit and nuts. And it's very high sugar, but a lot of times I want the sugar. Next, I went through a Planters Mixed Nuts, and this is my other nut of choice. In the morning, I grab cranberries or Sahel, and a little handful of this or the cocoa almonds. And I love these. The mixed nuts were good, but the pistachio blend are my favorite. These were probably a substitution. Okay, next, this was a package of potatoes. And I especially wanted to tell you about this because when you think of low carb, you don't think of potatoes or sweet potatoes. I would eat a potato any night, pretty much, and I can handle that. You would just have to test your own, what that does to your appetite and your blood sugar and how you feel on it. I feel great on a potato. If I'm really watching my carbs, I would eat half of one. I would say I eat a potato once every week or two. Okay, next I have an empty Drew's Thousand Island. I use this one because I know it's gluten-free. The Kraft, I'm not sure about. If I wasn't gluten-free, I would just get the Kraft. If you're gluten-free, this is delicious. Again, I'm kind of careful with the Thousand Island because it is a sugar. So I'll eat that when I'm, on just a normal day. But if I'm really watching my carbs, I would eat ranch. Then I have an empty Cool Whip. I have a big spoon of this every night in a cup of decaf or on berries or cooked apples once in a while. But every night in a cup of decaf. Okay, then I have an empty apple cider vinegar, and I put a tablespoon of this in my water every single morning. I'm drinking it right now. And sometimes in the afternoon. And I don't really know what all this is good for, but I do know this adds a little extra gut acid for gut health. Okay, then I have an empty box of Sweet and Low, and this is my sweetener of choice just because I know no sweetener is great for you, but I trust this more than anything else. I use 2 of these in my morning coffee, and then I would say 1 or 2 more through the day in decaf. And it's not as delicious as Splenda, but I just trust it a little bit more. But that's just kind of my thinking, and I never consume NutraSweet. Not in gum, not in drinks, nothing. I never ingest aspartame, but I will use the Sweet and Low. Okay, then a supplement. I went through a Barlean's Eye Remedy. I will tell you, if you want more omega-3s in your life, these are delicious. This was tangerine flavored, and I never forgot this because it was like dessert. When I was going through a lot of eye problems, I used this. It has omegas, lutein, zeaxanthin. It has a lot of good stuff for your eyes in it, and it was delicious. It's like a little treat. Okay, next I went through a crispy sauerkraut. It took me a long time to go through this, and I will tell y'all, this is not always my first choice, but I have heard that fermented foods are good for gut health, and I'm really focused on that right now. I'm going to really keep trying to incorporate that, but it's a struggle. It's delicious. The sauerkraut, a little bit of sweet potatoes, just the sugary Sam's on the stove, and jalapeno sausage was really good. It's just not usually what I grab for. Okay, then I went through a Barlean's omega-3. This is the citrus sorbet, and it was delicious. Right now, I'm on a key lime flavored, and it's delicious too. I get these in the refrigerated section of my grocery store or a health food store, and they are so good. Then I went through a bread and butter pickles, and I love these too. Adding just a little bit of the sweet pickles with any meal is just a little bit of a treat, but not too much sugar. Okay, then I went through a San Antonio decaf. It is a cinnamon and vanilla flavored coffee, and it is so good with a big spoon of Cool Whip in it, and every night it makes me feel like I'm having a little treat. But it's not a cheat at all, so I love that. Then I always go through a coconut milk. This is the almond coconut blend because they substituted it. My favorite is the coconut. I always make sure it's the unsweet. This is 40 calories. I would have this anytime. Anytime I'm hungry during the day but don't want to eat or snack, I'll get a giant glass of this, and it's very filling. Add a little handful of nuts to that. And that is a great snack that'll hold me for hours. And also after the gym, I will have a cup of that and a scoop of collagen. Then I went through a package of bacon. Sometimes I will add, bacon to my eggs anytime I want, as much as I want. Because it's just protein. It's just good. Just good protein. Okay, then I went through a Trader Joe's Nutritional yeast. I love this on salads, but I always forget it. I'll tell you how I really love this. I will take this to my bed and eat this by the spoonful. I love it, and it's rich in B vitamins. So I love my nutritional yeast. It's just kind of got a Parmesan, nutty taste kind of, and I will just get little spoonfuls of it. If you do that, it's very gummy, but I like to just sit there and just kind of snack on little bites of that. Then I went through a Benito's hint of lime. The main ingredient in this is beans. And so it's probably really high in fiber, 5 grams of protein, 4 grams of fiber. And I'm careful with these just like I would be any chip because they do have carbs, but they're gluten-free, and these lime ones were so salty. They were so good. Okay, then I went through a big bag of the cocoa almonds, and these are the ones I like. Just a bag of them, reach in, grab a little handful, and head to the gym, and I love those. And sometimes in the middle of the day. Okay, then I went through a probiotic. I do the 50 billion live strain from the health food store in the refrigerated section, and these are just supposed to be great, again, for gut health. Okay, then I have, this was a hamburger meat, and I always keep 2 to 4, I usually say 2 pounds, but sometimes up to 4 pounds of cooked ground hamburger in the fridge. If I keep a couple of pounds of hamburger meat and chicken salad, good protein in my fridge, that's what I'm grabbing for. If I'm too tired to cook, I put it on salads. I can throw it in a pan and make taco soup, a Mexican mess, anything. Y'all put down below your favorite things to make with hamburger. I need some fresh ideas, but no matter what I do with it, if I keep it cooked in my fridge, it's there, and that's what I'm going to grab for. Then I have an empty chicken, and these were chicken tenders. And what I love doing with that is either cheesy chicken. I'll put that recipe down below. It's delicious, even left over, and my whole family loves that. But lately, Elle's Mexican chicken. I like to keep that made, and I'll just make a Mexican bowl with it with sour cream, avocados, tomatoes, and then I either dip chips in it, or I can make riced cauliflower with it, depending on how many carbs I want that day. So it doesn't really matter what meat I have in there. It's just the fact that I have meat in there. And that really helps me stay low carb and get all the protein I need. And that is all of my kitchen empties. Y'all be sure and go over and see what Elle is loving in her kitchen. And that is all I have for you. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Leave comments and questions down below, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Y'all have a good day. Bye.